Hey guys, Zect here. Nearly 2 months has passed since I rerolled to Hashashin, and here I want to give you my experience with Awakening Hush compared to Sakash. Just as a reminder, this is purely my opinion, and when you see things different in a different way, this is totally fine. Starting with his Awakening kit, Awakening Hush is probably one of the most hardest classes to learn and also to master. Overall, compared to Succession, he has way higher combo damage. He has less burst damage though, his damage is also slower. He's able to range grab, he has long range movement compared to Succession. He has a way easier usage of the skill Mirage because of his skill in his Awaken kit, which allows him to use it way easier by just triggering instead of timing. He is very stamina hungry, especially with his long range movement. He has more protected skills than Succession has. He's definitely harder to learn and also harder to master. And Awakened Hush is constant pressure. Because of all his SAs, his slows, his range grab, his block jump, and also some other CCs, you can pressure your opponent constantly with this class by able to being safe. And this is a really good thing. His PvE is slightly worse to Succession. However, Succession and Awakening Hush are really good grinders, no matter what you like. So I would not make the decision for Awakening or Succession on his PvE. His PvE is great. For group fights and large scale, what I experienced compared to Succession, he's very, very vulnerable against slows, because all his Awaken kit is already a bit slower than the Succession is, and if you get those slows from Suck Wizards, Guardians, etc., you will have a very hard time. His damage is slower and is also harder to pull off than Succession, because you mostly have initial skills before you can unleash your burst damage. That means that you at least have to do one more skill in front, like before your damage skills. What is definitely not that great for group fights, since your in-time fight is way longer than with Succession, and that makes him a bit less effective in my opinion. However, he has a core skill in Awakening. That means he has one safe CC, what is a really good thing. For example, if you pick Doomslash for your Awakening core skill for group fights, you can do the Doomslash into Condemnation, what is a really good burst, knockdown, safe combo, and yeah, could definitely use this. However, in 1vx I experienced he has a lot of stamina problems when kiting, and by that means if you want to kite people and you try to like punish them for their movement, punish them for mistakes, you run out of stamina really fast, and when you're out of stamina you will mostly die. For his 1v1, he's probably one of the best classes in 1v1s. He has tons of tools, range grab, sin splitter, block jump. That means with the range grab you can punish all lingering SAs, you can punish nearly everything when mastered. You have an iframe into grab cancel, what is really, really strong, and you also can cancel the grab when you use our Glass of Recall. Sin splitter is like a spiral cannon from Striker or Mystic, just better. It's faster, you can turn it, and it has a CC on every hit. With the core skill you can make it protected. In my opinion, it's one of the best CCs in the game. It's crazy, you can punish all gaps with this skill, and it pierces frontal guards super easy. This is a really crazy skill for 1v1s. With his block jump, he's able to punish all frontal guards, and with being mastered, of course block jump is unsafe, so it's a bit risky, but if you master this class, there's nothing you can't punish with Awakened Hush. So for 1v1s, he's probably one of the best classes we have. It's definitely hard to master though, so you definitely want to train a lot on this class and need some time. He's able to re-CC also. That means he has so many down smashes, and also through because of a tier 3 add-on on a down smash skill, you can proc like really reliably down smashes, so you can re-CC your opponent. That means you can pull off nearly 2 combos on one target, and in 1v1 if you master that, you should be able to combo nearly everything, maybe even meme builds, but yeah, I haven't been there yet, so definitely if you are an Awakened Hush, definitely try that out. It's crazy strong. And for counter classes, Awakened Hush probably has no counter classes. He's like a crazy duelist. He can punish nearly everything. He has a few matchups that are a bit harder, but direct counter classes where you can do nothing against, I definitely think he has no counter classes. And with that being said, I think Awakened Hashashin is one of the best duelists in the game. Coming now to his Succession kit, Succession Hashashin compared to Awakening Hashashin is definitely easier and especially easier to learn. However, even if you want to master him, you definitely also need to spend some time on it, and I would say it's also like a hard master class, and there are several reasons for it. Overall, Succession Hush has higher burst damage and faster damage than an Awakening has. His movement is faster, his burst movement is faster, he has more consistent iframes, what allows you to dodge more damage. Also, his movement is more bursty, so it's definitely a bit faster, but you don't have any long range capabilities. So when you have to travel for like far distances with Sakash, you start to struggle sometimes. He has no safe CCs outside Mirage and Quicksand. Mirage is hard to use in Succession though, you have to time it right, and Quicksand only the last hit is in CC. So CC wise, it's definitely a bit worse than his Awakening counterpart. However, in Succession, because of Aal's Breath, you have stealth capabilities, and by stealth capabilities I mean not in a way like Ninja or Kuno, but in group fights, when you are a tornado, most people will just ignore you, what allows you to like pass the front line and go into the back line relatively easy, especially also because of the easier usage of your block jump, because you don't need an AP buff to use your block jump. Moreover, you can cancel the block jump into an iframe, what makes it relatively safe compared to his Awakening counterpart. His PvE is slightly better than Awakening, but as I said before, Awakening and Succession are both good grinders, and both kits are absolutely fantastic in PvE, even though Succession will pull better numbers slightly. As I said before, it's definitely easier to learn the Succession kit, but also if you want to be effective against everything in the game, it's definitely also hard to master, and you need to learn all the other classes, especially because you're missing on safe CCs. For group fights, he has the burst damage to instantly burst his targets down. He has ranged capabilities and ranged damage, what you should not underestimate. You can definitely kill people with that. His Quicksand is also stronger, what is huge in my opinion, because it's a mid-range debuff skill with high AoE and a CC on the last hit, what allows you to get a lot of kills, secure a lot of kills, or debuff a lot of enemies around you. No safe CCs though, so when you want to CC your opponents, you have to be careful. You have to most likely use the block jump, cancel, or you use your Purge. Purge is also a fantastic tool to CC your opponent from mid-range, and also Purge is definitely a bit easier to use in Succession since you don't have your Awakening weapon. Sakash has a bit more, from what I'm experienced, has a bit more of an assassin playstyle. You use your Aal's Breath to stealth, you go in the backline, go behind enemies, you pick off targets from the sidelines, and you're super hard to track because of your double iframe movement, of your general movement, of your Aal's Breath, so people will have a hard time tracking you. You can just appear out of nowhere, deal incredible burst damage, kill a few targets and go out again. Also, his stamina is definitely more manageable than an Awakening. When you use your long range movement in Awakening, you can run out of stamina really fast, and the stamina management is definitely a bit better in Succession. Overall, in my opinion, Succession is definitely the better group fighter than Awakening, because of all the reasons I just mentioned. For his 1v1, I would definitely say Succession is definitely a bit worse than Awakening. He has no grab, he has no core safe CC, he has no Sin Splitter. He has the block jump cancel, what makes your block jump a bit more safe. But still, if you block jump on safe CCs, you will get CC'd, so you have to be careful with that. He has a super hard time against his A classes, and that's definitely also a reason why there's some matchups that are nearly impossible. Also, his Mirage is harder to use, since you don't have the skill in Awakening where you can just trigger the skill and use Mirage from pre-awakened. You need to time your Mirage, and if you fail, you are completely unsafe, so Mirage is definitely harder to use as well. If you master Succession Hush, you can be definitely decent in 1v1, however you have a super hard time against classes with a lot of safe CCs. For his counter classes, Guardia, Succession and Awakening can be definitely impossible for him to fight, and by impossible I don't mean you can't kill Guardias, I just mean if your opponent is equally skilled than you and equally geared than you and you can't burst them down with your damage and they don't make a lot of mistakes, Guardia can stay safe for like all of the time, and you will have it's nearly impossible to CC her, and if you can't kill her, you will most likely get CC'd at some point. Also, Striker and Mystic have the capability to stay protected all the time, so if they want, they can choose to linger their SA like infinitely and still have the option to save CC, so at some point they will catch you if you can't burst them down. Sacknova is in brackets here because Sacknova has the same you can't really CC as Sacknova or without a grab. However, Sacknova, I experienced that you can damage them with back attack damage since they are really slow with turning their frontal guard, but still, if the Sacknova has a lot of DP, there's probably no way you can CC her if she's not doing a mistake. It's really hard also to deal with Sacknovas. For the counter classes, I definitely have to say, I don't mean you can't beat those classes, especially Strikers and Mystics can still be beaten if there are players really skilled and equally geared and high geared, especially Strikers and Mystics if they run DP builds, because they have those magical DP and you are a magical class, you will have a hard time killing them. That's why I put them into the counter classes. So if you fight one of those classes and they're really good, they're really geared, I would be really careful, and some matchups are really hard to impossible if your opponent is decently geared and decently skilled. To summarize all, Hashashin is a really great class. Both kits are specialized for different parts of the game. With Awakening, you can have one of the best duelists. With Succession, you can have an easy, really cool assassin playstyle group fighter. So both classes definitely are strong. In PvE, both classes are definitely top tier. Maybe not the best in each spot, but definitely up there. So Hashashin in general, a really strong class. Still want to mention, like, there are definitely still a bit more differences between both kits, but I think I could give you an idea of where the differences are and maybe help you a bit in choosing what you want to play, Awakening Hush or Succession Hush. For me, I would definitely play both kits, I think. I enjoy both. I still learn Awakening. Awakening is definitely harder than Succession, so I need to invest more time in it. Succession is a crazy cool group fighter. However, when you encounter those classes where you can't really do much against, it's a bit annoying. So I will probably stick with both classes, so I can be suited for everything in the game. As always, thanks for watching, guys. If you have questions, ask me in the comment section, leave a like and the sub. And with that being said, see you next time.